Hi guys, once again, probably hate me by now. I've really tried to make these tutorials as detailed as possible so a lot of you more experienced After Effects users can get the most out of this template. Um, I've been explaining some things that are a little bit overkill for some of the people that just wanted the simple version. But I have found that it's easy to explain all the hard stuff first, and then the simple stuff is just really easy. Well, in this tutorial, I'm just going to try and make it the best explanation of how to render this. It's a long template. If you don't use the 3-minute 20, it's still going to be a long template. And everybody, or I don't know if everybody knows this, but sometimes you render, it crashes, you lose all the render. You were rendering for 2 hours, you're like, ah. So basically what I'm going to suggest here, this is my suggestion for the best way to render this template and a lot of other After Effects templates or After Effects animations. Okay, you're wondering, I still haven't decided, I haven't spoken about music. Well, I haven't decided where to put the music yet, or I haven't decided the music because it has to do a little bit with the rendering. When you render this, go to the final composition, add to render queue. It's going to open up this thing, right? And you're going to choose where you want to, but I'm not going to render video for now. Because in my experience, you render a very long video, the lights go out, the computer crashes, and you corrupt the large video file that you're rendering, which turns out to be like 4 gigabytes or something like that. And then you have to re-render everything all over again. What I prefer to do is I prefer to render everything in JPEG sequence. So just in case it's, we'll just go, I'll show you, go to option here. Instead of QuickTime, you just choose the JPEG sequence. It doesn't allow for audio. The format options are okay. It is okay, okay, and you choose where you want to render this out, okay? And you render, and it's going to take a long time, and it's going to render into a folder like this. It's going to render, instead of a video, it's going to render the pictures one by one, frame by frame, so you can actually see frame by frame. It's going to, I'm using the keyboard to actually go down to see each of these frames. It's going to render these one by one, and if the computer crashes, no problem. Open up the template again. I mean, you saved this by now, I hope. Go in the best settings, choose where it left off, and okay, and repeat the process. And instead of it rendering from 0, it's going to render from where it crashed. So basically, you're going to have a folder full of these PNGs, and you get to the end, you don't like how the animation works from 267 to 330. Well, you can just render, you can just go back to the template, change the picture that you didn't like, and just re-render the ones where it does show up. And you can just check, oh, I don't like how the animation, you don't like this first picture, you don't have to re-render the whole video. You just have to re-render this little piece with a, and last quick option to do that is just press B and press N, and he'll just end up rendering. I hope he does. Well, it doesn't actually, but what you can do is just copy the settings, like the time settings, and if you don't like the time, you can just press your command, or is it the Apple, the Alt? Yeah, it's command or control, and you get the frames, which is the number of the frames that are here. So you actually know which frame to render from which frame to which frame, and you just re-render it. You re-render it, and it'll replace these that are wrong, and you don't lose 12 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours of rendering over again. So once you're happy with your thinking, how do I see the whole animation? How do I see these? Okay, you want to see these, see how they're doing? You just double click here, and you go to your render, and you just select the first one, doesn't matter, or the second one or whatever, and activate the JPEG sequence, open, and it'll import the whole animation into the video, into your, and you can just drag that in there, okay, and put it on top. Go to the final composition, put it on top, just isolate it, because now what you want to see is the video itself and not all the stuff that was underneath. And another thing is, keep in mind, this template, this composition settings are 29,97 frames per second. So right click, interpret footage, main, 29,97, okay, and you will see it'll fit perfectly. If it doesn't fit perfectly, because probably the frame rate that you've chosen is wrong. So what we have now is isolated, so the computer isn't calculating any of this, After Effects isn't calculating any of this. Sorry, I got these things right. These things should be right in the beginning and the end, okay? So as you can see, it's all fast enough because it's just rendering the PNG, the JPEGs that I rendered. And you see, and you can actually just now, you can actually just go to composition, add to render queue, turn that one off. You don't need that one now anymore. And now you can choose the video that you want. You want a QuickTime, I suggest QuickTime H.264, okay, your audio, and by now you can already import your music, add your music on top of this, and actually work with your music in here and see how things are going. It's a lot faster than rendering the whole project to preview the video, the music. So now you can render this, and or you can just click here to preview, just let it pre-render so we can actually see what's going on. And like I said, you get to a point here that you don't like a picture, you don't like the thing, the animation jumps, it doesn't quite. What you can do is you just turn that off, go figure out what the problem is, where you want it, re-render, replace the frames that are wrong, and then you can just reload this footage. It'll reload automatically, update the frames that you changed, turn it on again, isolate it, make sure the music's right, and render this as a video. This is my experience in a lot of years working with After Effects, crashing and losing files because of renders is a common thing. So this is the best way so that you don't lose any sleep because you lost a 4-hour render, and like this you just lose like 20 minutes, 10 minutes here and there. Okay, guys, this is my render tutorial. Sorry once again if this template is more complicated than it looks for editing, but it's the best I could do with the creative process. Sometimes making it easy to edit is not easy. So thank you once again for buying this template. I think there's still another tutorial for advanced users that want to create their own pages. Thank you very much. Be kind with the ratings. If you have any problems, you can email me at ultinato@gmail.com and or message me through my VideoHive message box. Thank you once again.